You've tuned in to I Am Not a Number Live, the review show with Cardinal Sin
and friends,
where we review a different episode of The Prisoner starring Patrick McGoohan. Each week, we discuss a different episode and its implications then and now. Follow along and make sure to catch the episode in our viewing order so you can be ready to ask questions and participate in the chat. New episodes premiere each week on Wednesdays from 3 to 5 Central. The show's surreal and political implications on the reduction of the individual to a number have an even more insidious impact today, as all of our information, phone calls, texts, likes, photos, and other data are harvested to be sold and turn us into product rather than consumers. Get ready for a deep dive into one of the most important shows to have an impact on pop culture and society ever. And remember, I am not a number. All right, it's Cardinal Sin here, and I am here with my friend Rick Davey of the Unmutual website.
Howdy,
and
everyone.
We are going to discuss Hammer into Anvil today.
One of my favorites. One of my favorite episodes.
And let's see who we have here in the chat. We have Darius Munchausen and Canadian Spider-Man, Sliders Fan Blog, Herc130, and I think we have lots of people saying hello to each other. Michael Beacom is here. Hail.
Yay.
The Streamlinks bot is running. The Stream Elements bot is running, but not the Stream Elements tip jar. And I guess I did not have that set up on this one here, so I'll go ahead and put it in. Whoops.
Thank you for the message on the screen there, Darius. Nice to see you. Sorry I couldn't make it last week, everybody. Work commitments meant that I wasn't able to join the good Cardinal in talking about Checkmate, which is a shame because that's my favorite episode of all the weeks to miss.
Well, we can definitely recap it if you'd like.
Oh no, let's talk about Hammer. If you have any questions about Checkmate, I'd love to answer them. But yeah, Hammer into Anvil.
Well, if it's your favorite episode, let's recap a bit.
Well, the reason it's my favorite is it has all the elements of the series in one episode. So it's got lots of Portmeirion, which is always great. It's got an escape attempt, which is always great. It's got a bit of, intrigue and a bit of a twist at the end that you don't expect. I think that's always good. Great acting, some great guest star actors. It's got a great number 2. Rover pops up in it. And it's also got a great bit of allegory as well about the fact that we're all pawns. So everything that makes The Prisoner great is all encapsulated in that one episode. And it's the only episode where I think you get a bit of everything, other than maybe Arrival. You get a bit of every aspect of the series all lumped together in one episode. And then follow it.
I agree.
It's a great episode. One of those episodes which maybe doesn't necessarily need to be. But
can you slow down a little bit? You're roboting out slightly. Can you repeat and slow down?
I think that might be my. Yeah, I think that might be my internet. I'm afraid. Let me know if I'm clearer now.
Now you sound fine, but before you were like, kind of robot-y, and then everything came all at once.
That's all right. I'm being overtaken by a Dalek. That's what it is. I'm slowly being absorbed. No, I'm not really. Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. It's nice to be with you again. I'm sorry again for not being here last week. Yeah, Hammer into Anvil is one of those episodes that doesn't necessarily need to be in the series, but it's just a brilliant 50 minutes of drama. Great revenge episode. You get the impression here that number 6 is really getting on top of his situation in the village and is now starting to play with the village a bit, and he does that over the next couple of episodes. So these are kind of episodes which, in our order, we could probably start to put a bit later on. I don't know what Cardinal thought of Checkmate or Hammer into Anvil. I'm sure he will fill us in on his thoughts. At least I hope he will.
Actually, I thought that... Let me rephrase that. I think that Checkmate and Hammer into Anvil have some definite corollaries. I'll put it that way. There are some things about those two episodes that make them, in this viewing order, pretty good. Do you think that there are similarities, Rick?
I'm not sure. Well, in what way? What are the similarities that you saw?
In the sort of taking away the power from number 2 and number 6 sort of being more authoritative, and I think each episode is either a win or a loss for number 6, and I think both of these episodes are wins. They're victories.
You think Checkmate is a win? You think Checkmate is a win? He doesn't get away at the end. His plan is completely foiled.
Yeah, but he's fooling people, that are worker bees, if you will, in the village, that he's authoritative and he's part of the minders rather than the prisoners.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that, but I think because his plan fails, I think automatically, in my mind, I'm not saying you're wrong. In my mind, I automatically think, well, he hasn't gained a victory there. I mean, he hasn't given in, so I guess you could say every episode is a victory.
Yeah, okay, no, I see what you're saying. It's not really 2 wins so much as it is there are corollaries in between the 2 episodes in that he is authoritative and that works in his favor. In the case of Hammer into Anvil, it absolutely unravels number 2. So that's a win. I mean, what's a win for number 6?
Fantastic. I think that fantastic performances in both episodes from the number 2 and number 6. I think McGowan's great in both. Hammer into Anvil, I think Patrick Cargill's performance as number 2 is excellent. The final scene where he kind of breaks down, that was the first one he filmed for the episodes. It's amazing that he managed to get that final scene was his first scene that he shot, and it played it with great emotion. And I think number 6 is great here. This is why number 6 is such a great character, and why McGowan is such the right choice to be number 6. I think it's a great, calm, measured performance, and the
Agreed.
character is calm and measured, and takes number 6 down in a wonderfully systematic way, doesn't he? The way that he does that. And to think
Michael
that the
Beacom
episode
from
kind
the
of
chat
what we might
says Checkmate is not a win, but he learns enough of how the gears work he can later turn the tables and Hammer into Anvil. I think that's a very interesting way to put it. Sliders fan blog says Hammer into Anvil was fun with McGowan playing with number 2. And Sherry says hello, Cardinal Sin and Rick the Unmutual.
Hello.
And let's see if I can figure out a way to get Tracy Torme on the line here. We'll give it one more try. Yep.
Hey, Rick. Good to see you again, buddy.
Hey, That's
Can you hear
great
me
to hear
okay?
your voice on the line. Hey, Tracy. Good to hear from you. How are you
Hello?
keeping?
Hello?
You doing pretty well?
Yeah, can you hear me? That's the
Mm-hmm.
key question. Okay.
Yep. Can you hear
Hi,
us?
Rick? Not yet.
Can you hear me, Tracy? I don't
I
think you
don't
can
think
hear
he
me.
can.
I
No,
can't
that's
hear
a
you
shame.
guys.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just kind of go one at a time.
That's a shame.
Well, we'll get the technology thing working next week.
Okay, fair enough.
So, this is the first time it occurred to me that there might not be a number one. Number two may simply be playing his part. Any thoughts?
That's interesting. Certainly the way they play it is every time number one is on the phone, they all seem totally terrified.
Well, they don't actually refer to him as number one. Just
No, they
sir.
don't call him, right, they don't say who he is, but that's certainly what it's implied to be. But it's interesting how scared they all seem to be whenever he's on the line. You know?
Yeah. They definitely seem scared, but number one could be a collective. It could be an assumption. Number two may be as high as it gets, and there's a committee that assigns different number twos.
Of course, that number one is actually number 6.
Right.
Right?
And in this case, number two said something interesting to number 6 about XO4.
Mm-hmm.
That XO4 was the one that he was really worried about.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that too.
Rick, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, XO4 is an imagined, made-up thing that number 6 has come up with. Number 2 is scared
But
because
number
he doesn't
6
know what
came
XO4
up with.
is.
I thought that number
Yeah,
2 was the
XO4
one
is-
that offered that.
No, that was on the first note that number 6 hides in the stone boat, which they managed to blow up on the screen. He signs it XO4, and then then number 2 reads that and goes XO4. That means number 6 is a plant, because number XO4 is completely made up and invented by number 6 to freak out number 2, because number 2 doesn't know who XO4 is, why he's being watched, why he's being looked at by what he thinks are the authorities, but it's just number 6 playing with him, of course.
I'll have to watch it again. I thought that that number 2 offered XO4 when he was on the phone, and that number 6 used that against him and turned it around on him later and said, I don't think that number XO4 is going to be very happy about that. Yes,
No,
Tracy, go ahead.
I think you may have
Tracy?
misremembered there, Cardinal, I have to say. But do check it again. We may have lost Tracy.
Are you still there? Evidently, we've lost Tracy. That's okay. We shall persevere.
This is an interesting episode because number 1 is clearly, number 2 is clearly scared of number 1, as number 2 was in A, B, and C. I'm sure you remember that was the other time the big red phone, was appearing on the desk in a sort of
when he's in threat.
Yeah, and this does make the allegory of the whole series kind of a little bit more interesting and questionable, because there clearly is somebody on the other end of the phone. So who is that person that's on the other end of the phone, and how does that tie in with the whole allegory of the series?
I have a question. How did number 2 get that message out of the numbers that number 6 put on the pigeon?
Number 6 obviously being a secret agent or whatever he is, a scientist, whatever
Scientist, yes.
yeah. Obviously knows code. So he knows how to write numbers and
But
letters.
he knows their code.
Well, it's not necessarily their code. It could just be it could be an international code that their machines can decipher. But yes, he might know a code.
So every word between 1 and 100 has a certain meaning. Is that it?
I would guess it does. I mean, when he does make up a code, the patter cake, obviously they can't decipher that because it's just completely made up. And number 6 is doing it to wind them up even further. Obviously, the numbers that he wrote on the piece of paper were a recognized code because the machine was able to decipher it.
So this episode opens with, "Why did you slash your wrists, number 73? What an opening line. Immediately, it is evident that this is going to be a very different kind of episode of The Prisoner, with number 2 showing a suicidal woman evidence of her dead husband's cheating. As number 6 says, he is a sadist, and we have never seen a number 2 quite like this one. Something changes in number 6 when number 73 dies, and you can see the moment where his resolve strengthens and his mood darkens. He is going to break number 2. You shouldn't have interfered, number 6. You'll pay for this. No, you will. So, even before I started watching this episode, the title gave me a clue as to what was going to happen. Goethe is referenced in the episode, but Orwell's subversion of the metaphor is key. Quote, "In real life, it is always the anvil that breaks the hammer, never the other way about." Close quote. That's from Politics and the English Language. And Orwell was writing about dying metaphors, one step removed from dead metaphors. Dead metaphors are fully integrated into the language to the extent that they are no longer recognized as metaphors, whereas dying metaphors are ones where the original context is misunderstood and, quote, have been twisted out of their original meaning, close quote. So Orwell identified the hammer and the anvil as being twisted to represent the anvil being broken by the hammer, whereas in reality it is the hammer that eventually breaks. In the context of the village, number 2 is the hammer and the prisoners are the anvil. This is the episode where number 6 finally has enough and turns the tables. The anvil breaks the hammer. So, with that in mind, it was pretty obvious from the outset what game number 6 was playing. And the minute he started listening to the 6 identical records and making notes, it was clear he was trying to make random actions appear significant. But the genius of this episode was the ways in which he convinced number 2 that he was being undermined and that 6 was a plant leading a conspiracy. Instead of number 6 not knowing who to trust, and all of a sudden it was number 2 who found himself in that position. It's a gradual transition from a sadistic boss to a paranoid wreck, but certain key moments break him, such as the blank pieces of paper left by the boat. By the way, that day for night filmmaking works well in the shadows, but not really out in the open.
Yeah, it shows up on the Blu-ray, doesn't it? Which is a shame. That's the one negative about Blu-ray, isn't it, Cardinal? That it shows up all the imperfections as well as the beauty.
It's true. The episode strained credulity a little, with the thought never once occurring to number 2 that he was being played for a fool. Although it was highly satisfying to watch number 2's breakdown, it might have been more realistic for 2 to turn the tables back on 6 in the end. Bleak though that would have been, it's just when you add up all of number 6's tricks, which were increasingly silly, it's hard to believe that 2 wouldn't figure out what was going on, especially the random number sequences and the Morse code nursery rhyme. Talking of silly, what was the point of that trampoline battle? It was such a weird little interlude and added nothing to the episode. Maybe it was to add a bit of variety to the obligatory physical fight of the week, having already given us the usual fist fight at the beginning of the episode. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's a sport called Kosho, invented by Patrick McGoohan himself, and inserted into 2 episodes. This episode and the episode It's Your Funeral, which I think is coming up next week or the week after, I think, for us to talk about. It's just I think it's just a bit of McGoohan having a bit of fun, thinking that if the village did exist and it would have its own entertainment systems, its own TV station, it would probably have its own national sport, if you will, and this is it. And so it does appear in another episode as well, using some of the same footage, which again, eagle-eyed Blu-ray viewers will see that the stuntman seems to swap between another different stuntman. So there's about 3 different people in the same Kosho match against number 6. But that's just kind of part of the editing process, I'm afraid, that they had footage from 2 fight sequences, and it all gets a bit mixed up.
And yes, next week we will be reviewing It's Your Funeral.
Ah, great. So we'll see some more Kosho for people that love a bit of trampoline water fighting. And it's back again next week.
So the possible reappearance of Thorpe from Many Happy Returns as number 2 added credence to the theory that number 6's former bosses running the village, but I'm not entirely convinced that it was anything more than reuse of an actor in a different role, which was such a part of the television landscape at the time. Either way, I'm delighted that they did reuse Patrick Cargill, because he was a brilliant actor at portraying number 2's descent into paranoia and desperation, although his hair did a significant amount of the work. The moment he goes completely out of control, so does his hair.
Yeah, it does. You're quite correct, Cardinal, about the fact that it was just casting, and the casting director and Patrick Cargill, both in interviews, clearly stated it's a different character. It happened all the time in TV in those days. You can look at Star Trek, where the Squire of Gothos then turns up as a Klingon commander. You can look at the series like The Saint, where actors like Annette Andre turn up 5 or 6 times in the series. And the same is true of The Prisoner. Rose Tobias Shaw, the casting director, said they liked Patrick Cargill so
this
much
one?
they brought him back again. Someone's been on the network again, and he's had another box of goodies delivered. Fantastic.
This is every single episode of The Saint in black and white.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I have another one just like it that has every single episode in color.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, you will enjoy them. That's a project for you to try and start and finish, isn't it?
Not going to miss The Saint.
No, absolutely fantastic series. And you can play Prisoner Watch. Almost every episode will have in it somebody who appeared in an episode of The Prisoner. So it's a good series for prisoner actor spotting. But yeah, it happens so much.
I have to admit,
they just reused actors.
I have been going a little network happy. Now that I have the Blu-ray player that's region free, the network has the best titles, the best remastering, etc.
It does, and this
we have some more comments from the.
Did you see the announcement this week from Network, Cardinal? Did you see the announcement? I don't know if you're a fan of the horror genre, but this week Network acquired or purchased the entire Hammer archive. So all the great Hammer horror films of days gone by, the Draculas and Frankensteins and Hammer movies. Network now control those, so we can look forward to some great horror.
That's a good thing.
Hammer House of Horror. They already had the rights to that, yes. Which is have you watched any yet? What a fantastic series of anthologies.
No, actually, I haven't.
Oh,
and
you must.
I also have all of the. Well, maybe not all, but some of the. The Horror of Dracula, The Satanic Rites of Dracula, whatever the Frankenstein one is.
Yeah,
I
Curse of
forget.
Frankenstein, maybe. Yeah. But
Yeah.
they now have that entire archive. So all the Hammer films we're still waiting for are going to get the network remastering treatment.
Yummy.
So there'll be another box coming, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, at least one.
Anyway, I interrupted you, Cardinal. I do beg your pardon. You were going to read out some comments, and I'm sorry to have interrupted you there.
Michael Beacom says, I think there is unquestionably a number one. Low Spec Linux Laptop says, I thought The Prisoner had been number one and quit. No. Michael Beacom says, number 6 invented X04. All right, there we go. Also goes on to say, just watched the show 90 minutes ago and number 2 got X04 from number 6. Fair enough. Number 6 used a known code because he wanted them to get the message. Yeah, obviously. Rod Thunderheart is here. Hail Cardinal and hail Rick the Unmutual.
Hail. Hello.
And Canadian Spider-Man says, remember to stay until the end of our show for a chance to win your choice of a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a sweatshirt, or a hoodie. You must be present in the chat to be eligible to win. And this is a good example of what he is referring to. This is a hoodie for I Am Not a Number. And let me pull that off of there and make this a little bigger. So there's your I Am Not a Number hoodie.
Very nice.
This turns into a full hoodie, and of course, while you're wearing it, it has the URL on the back. So you could win this, or a t-shirt, or a mug, or your choice of merchandise for I Am Not a Number. And let's see what else we have. Canadian Spider-Man is very happy to see Rod Thunderheart.
That's a lot of exclamation marks.
That is. That's extremely grammatically incorrect. Glad you could make it. Sliders fan blog says Hammer into Anvil is one of the best episodes.
Always comes near the top of polls, you know, when you ask Prisoner fans what's your favorite episode. Always up there. And I think that's fair enough. It is great. What's really good about it, and I don't know if you know this, that the writer was a chap called Roger Waddis. This was the first television episode I think he ever wrote. So isn't that a fantastic start to his career, to come up with his writing career, to come up with something so
absolutely
brilliant.
I wonder where they found him.
I think he was someone that George Markstein knew through his sort of journalist arena. I think Roger was writing for the Radio Times possibly at the time. I think he was one of his contemporaries.
Michael Beacom says, greetings, Canadian Spider-Man, Rod Thunderheart, Darius Munchausen, and greetings back and forth. Michael Beacom says to Cardinal Sin, this number 2 is so arrogant he thinks everyone, including number 6, is beneath him. It does not occur to him that number 6 could be outwitting him.
I think that comes with arrogance.
To be the case.
Yeah, I think that comes with arrogance, doesn't it? The most arrogant people are so arrogant they just can't
pride
see.
Before a fall.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And as you said, you're quite right that Cargill gives an excellent performance. And you can see it all draining out of him. But although he's arrogant, you can see it in his. You can see it in him right from the beginning when he's teasing number 6 with the sword. You can see that he's a little unhinged, then, can't you? And number 6, you can see it in his eyes. Knows he's gonna, for want of a better phrase, have him for breakfast.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's some great scenes of dialogue as well. I really like that scene with the you said that the Goethe references and so on. And he's talking about
I will say this is one episode in which Rover does not appear.
Correct, he doesn't.
And Sliders fan blog says, has it ever been figured out if the number 2s come from the community or they brought in. I think they're brought in. Isn't that right, Rick?
They are, because there's a couple of references in a couple of episodes, isn't there, where the number twos are off. I think at the end of Free for All, the male number two goes off in the helicopter, and the lady says, "Give my regards to the homeland."
Right.
The new number two does that. So I think it is a case of that they're shipped in and shipped out. I personally have a theory about the number twos, but I'm not going to share it with you until next week, because next week is
Why
when
not?
it becomes. Because it's your funeral next week, and we learned something very interesting in its your funeral. So I'm gonna next
The way
week.
you put that sounded very eerie. It's
It
your
was a bit-
funeral next week. Oh,
well, that's true.
cool.
I hope it is. I hope it isn't, Cardinal.
Crikey!
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to log in without you. So stay with us.
All right, fair enough. As long as you remember, because I'll probably forget.
Yeah, I'm sure I remember.
Let's see here. Michael Beacom says to Sliders fan blog, "It always seemed clear to me that the number twos are brought in from the outside." Rod Thunderheart, Ivan Ivanovich, Canadian Spider-Man. Thanks. Cheers.
One thing I would have liked to have seen, Cardinal, I'm sure you agree with me. I wouldn't wanted, if this series was going to expand into more episodes, I would like to have seen more of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on in the village authorities. You see
Absolutely.
snippets of it, don't you, from time to time with the committee room in the general and things like that. You see bits and pieces in the
The people with the
top
what are
hats.
those tall hats?
Yeah.
Top hats. Yeah.
Yeah. But when we're talking about where do these number twos come from, it would have been great to have learnt a bit more about the stuff behind the scenes. But maybe that's what makes.
Well, that's why you have to watch Colony 3.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a very good point, and I hope people have. I hope people have taken your advice and watched that episode, because it really is.
I think it's on YouTube for free. I don't know if it's the
it's on Amazon as well, is it?
I don't know if it's the remastered episode or not, but probably on Amazon you can watch it for free.
Yeah, but if not, it's on not only is it on the Danger Man box set, it's also on the 50th anniversary Prisoner box set as well. So if you've got either one of those, you can watch it, and it's a great precursor to the Prisoner, isn't it?
Yeah, when I went back through the Danger Man box set several years ago, when it was called the Mega Set, I saw Colony 3, and immediately I was struck with, this has got to be the prototype for the Prisoner. And evidently I was right, because it's mentioned several times.
Yeah, no, there is so much in there. There's a couple of later episodes of Danger Man as well, which, whilst not precursors to the Prisoner, one called the ubiquitous Mr. Lovegrove, that has kind of lots of surreal, one might call prisonery elements in it. I'm sure you've seen that episode, or if you haven't, you need to. And of course,
I have seen it, but it's been several years.
And of course, it's always nice to see Portmeirion pre-Prisoner. So if you've got the half an hour Danger Man episodes, there's 6 episodes that feature Portmeirion, and if it wasn't for that piece of location filming, McGoohan would never have known about Portmeirion, because that was
Exactly.
when he came across the location. So we have a lot to thank Danger Man for, really, because obviously we wouldn't have the Prisoner without it in the form of which we know it anyway.
Indeed.
And I would recognise that all your listeners do check out Danger Man, or Secret Agent, as the Hour episodes were known in the States, with the great Johnny Rivers song, of course, for the American version of the episodes. The only thing that lets Danger Man down is the last 2 color episodes. I've never been a fan of. I don't know if you've seen them, Koroshi and Shinda's.
I have.
Yeah, and I think they're weak, I have to say.
I haven't seen them.
McGoohan agrees.
in
I think it was those episodes that tipped McGoohan over the edge and made him think, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm bored now.
Those episodes aren't remastered, are they?
No, they're just the standard definition DVD at the moment. Yeah.
I think if they'd remastered those, they might have had a better chance. But at the time, of course, they weren't doing that.
No, of course not. No, I mean the 60s
And,
people would probably
I think
seen them in
that
black and white
after-
those people as well. Anyway,
After 4 seasons, I think Patrick McGoohan had enough of being the most highly paid actor in the UK.
I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure he wasn't fed up with the money, but he was bored of the plots because by that point, with a couple of exceptions, it was becoming a bit more formulaic, wasn't it, Danger Man? Funnily enough, though, some of the later episodes are my favourites, but there you go.
Yeah.
Not those two.
Canadian Spider-Man is complimenting me on the disco lights and the new glasses. I have a proper set of sunglasses now, instead of the kind that you put over your glasses at the movie theater to see the 3D.
The swirly lights are very Prisoner-esque, Cardinal. It's almost like you're just about to be hypnotized. And
I know, they're very hypnotic.
12 or something, yeah.
Michael Beacom says, this entire episode is worth it just to hear McGowan's delivery of the line, "No, you will."
Yeah, great call from Michael Beacom. It's great to see Michael again, by the way. I always enjoy his contributions.
Ivan Ivanovich says it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, there you go.
Colony 3 was inspired by real training camps that the Soviets had.
Yeah, and indeed the village itself. The village itself is partly based on establishments such as Invalid Lodge in Scotland, which George Markstein had been researching, where spies were sort of sent away to be rested and hidden away from public view. And say one such place is called Invalid Lodge, which is almost like a prison. It had cells with locks and so on for spies to be sort of kept in away from prying eyes. So there's a lot of these places around. It's a fascinating area, really, and I would have loved to have been there at the outset, a fly on the wall in Prisoner Production. When McGowan was kind of trying to explain his concept, and apparently a lot of it comes from he was at a party and met with an MP and said, "Where do spies go when they retire? What happens to them?" And a lot of it was born out of that sort of just a chance conversation. I would love to have been a fly on the wall then, and a fly on the wall when
then, of course, the gear started working, and then he came up with the idea. My good friend Derek McManus is here, and he and I have discussed the show Taggart quite a bit in the past, and he says here, Taggart is better.
There's been
I think he's having a laugh. Are you having a laugh?
Not so much allegory and Taggart.
Taggart's a great show. I love Taggart, but The Prisoner does sort of.
I think it rather beats it, to be honest.
I
don't think people would do 50th anniversary Blu-rays of Taggart.
Yeah, I'd love to have. Actually, I looked on the network website for Taggart, and I was not surprised that I didn't find it, but I had hoped that I would.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all is right. Let me see here. Oh. I've gone and done it again. All right, so let's go ahead and look at a little bit more here. I think most of all, this episode provided a roadmap for how to get even in life. I don't mean to endorse sending somebody mad, far from it. But when the oppressed rise up against oppressors, it is far more effective to do that with brains, not brawn. One piece of blank paper is worth a whole series of fistfights.
Yeah, although there are fist fights in this episode as well. We get some at the end and at the beginning.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the episode, number 6 is walking around the grounds of the hospital, minding his own business, when he hears a woman scream. Naturally, he runs to her aid because he may not trust women, but he's happy to protect them. So there's a scuffle. She jumps out the window to her death. The most sadistic number 2 of all, Patrick Cargill, possibly the same fellow from Many Happy Returns, it's never stated one way or the other, threatens number 6 that "You'll pay for interfering," but number 6 simply replies, "You will," and thus begins a magnificent episode of number 6 turning the tables. Interestingly, this episode is about number 6 getting revenge, not escaping, which has something to do with the win, I think, aspect
We have a bit
of
of a
it.
run of episodes of that because It's Your Funeral next week, Change of Mind the week after. No escapes in those episodes.
Well, spoilers.
There may be escapes in those episodes.
There may be. So first of all, let's talk about the sheer amount of classical references this episode has. Goethe, Bizet, Don Quixote. Okay, that's 3, which maybe doesn't warrant the word sheer amount, but it's an impressive amount, and they are integrated seamlessly. What people possibly don't know is that Koshi should be a classical reference too. I mean, jumping around on trampolines with a pool in the middle, it's turned into a sport. What more could you want? I really want to play that game. It looks like a lot of fun. So I'm going to have some fun here as I talk about the mind games number 6 uses. When number 6 sees that number 2 is afraid of our masters, and he plays off of that, he sees number 2 as the weak link in the chain of command and exploits it. Although, one wonders why number 6 didn't do the same to Colin Gordon's number 2. I'd argue that things were still in their early stages at this time, and number 6 has lost the desire to play fair. Regardless, here's our list of fun strategies that 6 uses on his captor. The old secret message on an album ploy. This just causes number 2 to listen to the same album a bunch of times while threatening to figure out if there's a secret message. Every crackle must have been infuriating. The old accidentally left that note behind ploy. This is used twice, once on the newspaper and once on the writing pad. There is a message, but it is meaningless. Then there's the old impersonating a higher authority ploy. D6 is clearly of greater power than regular number 6, at least to number 2's awareness. This makes number 2 anxious and causes him to make mistakes. Then we have the old secret message on a blank paper ploy, fairly similar to the accidentally left that note behind ploy. But if you put blank paper somewhere and let people wonder what the significance was it the number of pages? It could be anything. Then we have the old classified ads ploy. Nothing beats the old classified ad ploy wherein you put in a message in the paper that's designed to catch the attention of someone else. Really effective when the designated target doesn't know who the real designated target is. Then we have the old secret song ploy. Ask someone to play a song for that special someone when there is no special someone. Drives the powers that be crazy. Who do they think they're dealing with? Pygmies? Then we have the old radio message from a dead person ploy. Want to really anger the authorities? Have a dead person send a special radio dedication. Then you have the old "you called for me" ploy. Want the authorities to question their own sanity? Make an unnecessary trip to the office and ask why you were called. Keep a straight face for added annoyance. Then there's the old clock bomb ploy. Nothing says I hate you like a clock bomb that doesn't even have the decency to be a bomb. Wasted effort to accompany the terror. Awful. Then there's the old carrier pigeon play. Great if you want to find out if the authorities can shoot a bird out of the sky with lasers hidden in flagpoles. That one wasn't quite in the suspension of disbelief mode. And we have the old undermine the minion ploy. Do you hate that suck-up that's always hanging around the boss? Undermine him by making it look like you're in cahoots with him, sure to break down any chain of command. The old Morse code to nowhere ploy, signal a make-believe friend. Drive authorities crazy with this patented technique to have them searching the air, land, and sea for a mysterious recipient who isn't there. And Rick, I really would have thought that all of these, especially combined into one episode, would eventually catch any number 2 into thinking, oh, he's just, taking the piss,
Yeah, when you read them out like the way you have, it does just look like a kind of catalogue of obvious ploys. But I think that the thing is that, as I mentioned before, you can see in the first exchange between number 2 and number 6 that number 2 is clearly unhinged. And the thing is about the unhinged is that they can't see what's in front of their face.
And he recognizes that the very first thing.
Yeah.
Plus, the fact that he's sadistic, I think, also adds to that.
Yeah, the sadism, the arrogance, all coupled together with the fact that he's unhinged, kind of make him blind to what's going on. Once he believes the first thing, he's then on a slope, isn't he? And each thing,
very much so,
he's not realizing that it's, this definitely isn't real, because now there's a bomb in a cuckoo clock. It's he's
and he
not
takes the big box, the empty box with him. That's great.
Yeah, I'll tell you none of those things bother me. I'll tell you what does bother me. Not much bothers me about The Prison, because it's obviously the best series ever made. But don't you find it odd that the man who's in charge of village security, the man who's in charge basically of whether people escape or don't escape, the supervisor who's in charge of security for the whole village, why is he the person that does the radio show and reads out people's birthdays? He's in charge of village security. Can you imagine that?
You mean the observer?
You are?
The observer, the guy with the thing on both sides of his head? The guy who gets fired in this episode?
Yeah. He's in charge of village security. Can you imagine the head of MI5 also doing a bit of DJing on the side? Wouldn't happen, would it? Why is the head of village security reading out the birthday messages? That's the only thing I don't like about this episode.
Here's your answer. I have an answer for you, Rick.
Great. I want to hear it.
Because he knows the dates and the days of the numbers of the people that are in the village.
Well, clearly not, because he didn't know that number whatever it was died. Was dead. He obviously doesn't know him that well.
Which one is that?
Well, because the number 6 gave in a birthday message for a dead villager. With the supervisor.
Oh, and he didn't catch it. I see. Yeah.
Clearly, he doesn't know he doesn't know the numbers that well. Why would he? He would.
Right.
Why would he be doing the birthday messages?
Well,
they just have.
You poked a hole in my theory already.
Yeah, they surely just should have given Fenella Fielding another 20 quid and asked her to come in and do the good morning, happy birthday, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I do miss the good morning. So, as number 2 breaks, he dismisses the butler, who actually looks like he's ready to go. I mean, that dude knew how to leave the village. He was packed. All 6 had to do was follow him. Game over. Didn't he notice, or was he so happy with himself that he went back to his room and had a V8 moment later? One thing is for sure, this episode is all out fun. If there's something to think about, I think it's lost in the mix of the brilliant mind games 6 plays with 2. While I am glad that most of them were more thought-provoking, I was delighted by the fun that this one gave me. I just wish number 6 noticed the butler leaving, ran him out of town like a common pygmy. That's something that would have been very interesting. Again, if we could go behind the scenes, if this had been a longer series, that's something that we definitely would have enjoyed.
Now, I don't know about the first time you watched the series, Cardinal, but the first time I watched the series, when I was 10 years old, it was 1983, I was wondering, is this mysterious butler number one? Well, this was the episode that showed me that he couldn't be, because number two can't fire number one, and number two clearly fires the butler in this episode. So that was what convinced me to know there's something deeper going on here with number one. It's not going to be the obvious reveal that I thought it was when I was 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to some comments here. Canadian Spider-Man says, Taggart is something I'm unfamiliar with. Well, Rick, would you like to take a stab at describing Taggart?
It's a British detective TV series.
It's a Scottish detective series.
Yes, he's a Scottish detective set in Glasgow.
Because they have to say things like murder a lot.
There's been a murder, but it's a standard.
There's been a murder.
It's a standard police procedural TV detective series, police detective, murder of the week type stuff.
But with Mark McManus.
Yes. Well, the later series had a younger actor because Mark McManus had died by that. So they do replace him. But yes, he's what
it was such a popular show. They actually kept it going after the main character actor had died.
Yeah, it was a popular show. It was a very popular ITV series, 1990s kind of era. Oh, it's okay. There are other detective shows I prefer. I prefer Columbo or other things with that are a bit more.
Yeah, but one thing I really like about Taggart is it's uniquely UK. It's uniquely Scottish. I mean, the British, they love their murder mysteries, don't they?
There's a lot of British TV series with detectives in. So maybe because I've been so kind of overwhelmed by them, Taggart kind of just falls in with all the other ones. It doesn't stand out to me particularly. There's other
for me it really did, because first of all, I've been a student of Commonwealth accents pretty much all my life. I worked on my Irish accent for about 2 years before I was able to break it out in public. Then I started studying the Scots accent. Then when I went back to the Irish accent, I couldn't do either of them. I was completely fucked. My brother is a professional actor, and he's had dialect tapes and things like that, and he has an acting coach who steers him the correct way when he has to do certain parts like that. And one of the things that he turned me on to was, and let me know if you've heard this before, whale, oil, beef, hucked. Have you heard that?
I haven't.
All right. Slowly repeat after me. Okay. Whale, oil, beef, hucked. Now we'll speed it up a little more. Whale,
very
oil,
good. Yeah.
Whale, oil, beef, hucked.
Very, very, very good. Very clever.
And things like that. It's a fine time to be alive in Ireland. That's way over the top. The soft southern Irish accents more easily done. Say again.
Positively Indian. I'm only winding you up, Cardinal. All part of the fun.
Yeah, that's all right. I get plenty of winding up.
Well, how did you come to see Taggart? I wouldn't imagine that sort of thing would get shown in the States, would it? Unless it was BBC America or something.
I went to a store here in town called Brits. Okay. BRITS.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to rent everything from Doctor Who to Taggart to Are You Being Served, all that kind of stuff. And I just took a chance on it and tried it. And I think I have 3 sets of 2 discs
Mm-hmm.
Knife Edge. I don't remember what the other two are called. But at this point, everybody is going to be all like, we have to check out Taggart. Michael Beacom says at Cardinal Sin, there was plenty of brawn. In fact, number 6 is probably at more physical danger in this one than any other. Number 14 is trying to kill him outright in the end. Did 6 kill him?
I think the implication is that he does, because he punches him through the window, and although we know it's only a couple of feet drop, because we know what.
I don't think that killed him, but it put him out of commission, which was what was needed.
Yeah, certainly. But Michael's exactly right. Number 14 is trying to kill him. There's no doubt about that. He's not just trying to kind of control him or take him back to number 2's office or whatever. He's trying to kill him. So Michael's quite right on that.
Yeah. Brian Hepburn is here. Long time no see. Taggart was mostly great. Quite different pre and post Mark McManus passing, of course. Carol's Cookies is here. Sherry is here. And Rob Altus is here. Hail. Stream Element Spot reminds you to tip Cardinal Sin. He works hard, and face it, you enjoy the content. Carol's Cookie says 99.4% of my friends are make-believe. Michael Beacom says, and you're a professional sadist. Welcome, Carol's Cookies. Hail, Rob Altus. Why, thank you, Darius Munchausen. Michael Beacom says, Rick, they have the supervisor reading the notices because the actor is already there and they want to give him screen time. TV, you know. Oh,
Michael, you cynic, you cynic. But you're quite right. They've got him in the episode already. We'll give him that to do as well.
Might as well give him some lines.
I'm going to pay a guest star fee, have we?
Hello, hi. Sliders Fan Blog says I need all 6 records. That's funny. Darius Munchausen says at Carol's Cookies, I am not a number. I am a free little pony. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it? Well, I don't know what that's about either, but did you know that an episode of the children's TV series My Little Pony was based on The Prisoner? Check that
really?
Out, everybody.
You know, I've been hearing that, but I thought people were just having me on.
No, there is an episode of I've never seen it because I can't get hold of. They're not easily available. There might.
Yeah,
there might
My
be
Little
these
Pony's
days,
not.
like Netflix, it might be around now. I mean, I'm talking 20 years ago when we only had VHSs and stuff. It was hard to pick up this obscure stuff. But yeah, there's an episode of My Little Pony that's based on The Prisoner. I haven't seen it. But
there recently was a YouTube stream in which people were talking about My Little Pony in very complimentary terms. So it may be more popular than either of us thought.
Yeah,
I certainly never thought it was. I mean, I knew it was popular, but that was back when I said popular thought is deadly, and I still say that. But
I don't think it's a show we're going to get into on the back of this, to be honest. But I'd like to see that particular episode.
Yeah. Michael Beacom says, Darius Munchausen, yeah, there's some drugs you can take for that. I don't know to what he's referring. Darius and Michael Beacom, it's just a reference to a friend of ours. Okay. Canadian Spider-Man, remember to stay until the end of our show for the chance to win your choice of a t-shirt, coffee mug, sweatshirt, or hoodie. You must be present in the chat to be eligible to win. And while we are talking about that, why don't we go ahead and take a brief detour to gillstore.com.
Uh-huh.
And this is where you can get all of your I Am Not a Number merch and various other shows. So we will go back here and I will share the screen. Kind of talking my way through it here. And let's see, here we have things that aren't really applicable. Although your I Am Not a Number merchandise will be available in all of these forms. There is an I Am Not a Number mug and an I Am Not a Number tumbler. T-shirts, of course. These are for various shows. Here's our I Am Not a Number sweatshirt, which is quite fancy. And we also have our pint glass. And this one is backward. There we go. Very fetching pint glass. As pint glasses go, we have the coffee mug. I'm Not a Number with Cardinal. And we also have the white hoodie. And we have the red sweatshirt. And these are priced at little to no profit. So I don't really make a profit off of these, but because the back of everyone has the URL, it's kind of a thank you for being a walking billboard for my channel. So I keep the prices low and pass the savings on to you. So those are some of the wonderful things that you can win in our end of show giveaway. But you must be present to win. So that is the story there. And we are back.
Thank you for that. Everyone grab yourself a bargain. It's good of you not to take much profit. You see a lot of these kind of stores like this, and the prices are kind of unimaginable, but you've got some reasonable stuff up there, and I hope people support the show by supporting the items.
The prices that they suggest, the average YouTuber, it makes it prohibitively expensive to get involved, and I dislike that. So
you've done a good thing.
I'd rather make 50 cents or $1.50 or whatever than $10 and have nobody buy them.
Do you have a favorite item of prisoner merch that you own, Cardinal? Do you have any mugs or badges or anything you're fond of from the prisoner? He's rustling around. What's he got there? He's always got a box to hand as Cardinal. Have you all noticed? He's always got something to show and tell. He would have been great to go to kindergarten with.
I think, honestly, my favorite piece of prisoner merch is the Prisoner, the Essential Guide.
That's brilliantly segued. And what a lovely man you are. Thank you. Very kind. Yes, available from Amazon, from theprisonershop.co.uk, from Fort Marion, from all good bookshops. Only 2 £5.99, which probably equates to about $3.50.
Yeah, it's
all the basic info.
it's a wonderful book.
Quality, not quantity, I always say.
It's got so much in it for such a small book. I'm really blown away by the photos, the episode by episode reviews. They're not knock you over the head with a clown hammer type thing, but just who the cast is, that kind of thing. And then you also have, which is very kind of you, actually, in the back, the what's it all about.
But what is it all about? Have we ever found the actual answer to that question, Cardinal?
It's a very important one. And what I think is really cool is the other prisoner goodies that you advise people to get. And do you even mention your own website in this book?
Only very fleetingly, because I'm not one for self-promotion, really. Yeah. I thought it would be a bit garish to kind of say, here's a book about the prisoner. There's a big page about a website. It does get mentioned in passing towards the end of the book. It says websites like the mutual.co.uk exist to bring information.
Oh, just a very...
it's a very passing mention. I'll tell you what page it's on, because hang on, I'll grab a copy of myself.
Of course you do.
Yeah, it's on the very last page, the legacy of the prisoner. It talks about fan clubs, and then it says, in more recent years, internet sites such as the unmutual.co.uk have kept fans updated. So the inside last page, the legacy of the prisoner, paragraph 3, line 6. I sound like number 2, don't I? Subsection 4. Paragraph 3, the unmutual.co.uk. There we go. So it is mentioned in passing, but no, I didn't think it was shouting from the rooftops, really. I didn't think that was what the book was about.
Yeah, in more recent years, internet sites such as the unmutual.co.uk have kept fans updated with the latest news, research, and events related to the series, which is true, but still, if it were me, I'd make sure and have a nice big fanfare.
You know, when it gets repeated, maybe I should do a whole page on it, and at the end say Cardinal.
Yeah, I think it would
check him out on
not
YouTube.
only do you well, but it would do the people that are interested in the series as well to know about the website.
To be fair, you're right there. So maybe I should give it a bit of prominence. If it gets reprinted again, I'll add that in. Thank you. You're very kind.
When you mean when it gets reprinted again?
When you're quite right. Thank you so much for that.
Let me see here. And of course, this is the website of which we speak.
Oh,
let me
very
pull
kind.
that piece of brand off of there.
Thank you. Very kind of you to
find
find
it.
the website. Very kind of you.
Well, I mean, you are here. It is your website. So, this looks new. Is this new? This free man?
Yeah, that was announced yesterday. So there's a Kickstarter campaign. Nothing to do with me. I've just passing on the news. I'm not involved in this project, but somebody has put together a kind of card game based on the prisoner.
Oh, cool!
Kind of doing it through Kickstarter, trying to raise the funds. So if you donate, I think it's $20 or something, you'll get a set of the cards once it's released. So yeah, it's a card game of skill and cunning where you've got to try and escape from the village. There's a link to go to the Kickstarter page for that. There you go. You've done that already. You're one step ahead of me as always.
Well, I am interested. 2 to 4 players, ages 10 to 100. If you're 101, you can't play?
Yeah, that's harsh, isn't it? And I'm sure a
Wow.
9-year-old could grasp it if a 10-year-old can.
15 days to go, 57 backers.
Oh, they've
Back
reached the
this
target.
project.
They've reached the target, so the project will be happening. On the little things.
And you said $20 or more.
I think so. Scroll down and see what the offers are. Is it 29?
Free man card game based on the prisoner. 49 pounds or more. Free man card game plus T-shirt.
I'm not sure.
55 pounds or more. 2 card game.
I'm happy to support it. I think £29 for a pack of cards is probably on the high end of expensive, but I'm happy to promote it because I think it's great that 55 years on, people
exactly, yeah. And that answers Tracy Torme's question about how popular is this still.
Well, did you see the Kickstarter, Cardinal, for the action figures? That was about
a
year ago. Wandering Planet Toys, I think, are quite popular in the States. They are releasing some prisoner action figures. Prisoner, they're like Star Wars figures, but the prisoner. Don't start typing your passwords and stuff in while we're all watching. I would do that later if I were you.
It's just a bunch of dots.
They're doing. You need a safer password than just some dots. There we go. We can see the last 4 numbers of your credit cards as well.
That's all right. You can guess the other 32.
Yeah. There's prisoner action figures coming out, so you need to check them out.
I shall, indeed.
Wow. £41 you're paying here. That's a lot for a pack of cards. But you're a lovely man for supporting it.
I do enjoy card games.
So
I am a big fan of card games.
I just want to make it clear again, nothing to do with me. So if you're disappointed with what you receive, it wasn't me.
But I did see it on your site. Because I said, hey, that looks new.
You did.
So
if you scroll down that front page that you've got open now on my website, scroll down, and you'll see some action. Keep going for quite a while, and you'll see the action figures. Keep going. Oh, hang on. Back up. Past the picture of the man holding the big Port Merion model. So keep going up. There we go. Stop. Down again. You're going. You just gone past it. So Danger Man Guide. Keep going. Spaced out. Keep going. I think it's 2 below spaced out prisoner. Up. There we go. Just up a little bit more. There we go. There's some of the action figures. You can see it on your screen. Go up again. Go. That's it. Stop. Prisoner
figures coming soon.
Yeah, there we go.
Interesting.
So they're a bit like, I'm sure you remember the Star Wars figures, with the card back. And
I used to collect Star Wars figures and play with Star Wars figures like you wouldn't believe.
They're now doing prisoner ones.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
Planet
that's
Toys.
A lot of people are doing Kickstarter stuff now. It's probably the way to go, really, isn't it? Because you haven't got to put out any outlay of your own, which I think is a bit lazy, don't you? I think if you're going to do a project, put up.
Well, you see, the interesting thing about this, Rick, is all of the prisoner stuff that I buy, I can write off on my taxes.
Because you can put it down as a.
It's a work expense.
Work expense, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, look at all this cool stuff. I love it. The all-in pledge, including an exclusive Wandering Planet Design the Prisoner t-shirt. Wow. Cool stuff. And how did you find out about these? Like the Kickstarter that I discovered and said, hey, that's new, isn't it?
I got an email from the guy that put the cast together and said, hey, I'm creating this, will you advertise it for me? And obviously the job of my website is to advertise anything as long as it's not breaking copyright. I'm happy to promote anything. I won't promote obviously things that are illegal or stealing people's work or anything like that,
right?
But, this isn't. So I'll promote anything that people, obviously I've got a page about podcasts, of which you are on as well. So, I'll promote anything that's worth worth promoting.
Do you get paid anything?
No, it's all for the love of it.
Is it really? My goodness, you are such a trooper.
Well, no, I love the show. I love meeting people like yourself. I love making friends. What's bad about making pals who are into The Prisoner as well?
Exactly.
You know, so to re-answer your question, I do get paid. I just don't get paid in money. I get paid in friendships and I have to say, not in the case of this card set, unfortunately. Some people send me freebies. So that's a good thing, a good reason to promote things. You get sent
very nice.
Yeah.
And the background that you have is not that of your physical media. It seems to be a green screen of the map room in The Prisoner.
Yeah, I've because for work purposes, I needed to put a green screen up for some Zoom related activities that I was doing for work. So I couldn't have all my DVDs or whatever on show. So the green screen was set up, and thought, rather than you look at a green curtain, I'll put something prisonery up from Hammer into Anvil. It's actually a still from Hammer into Anvil. So I thought that would be apt, and I would be the new supervisor just for the Orange Alert. Cardinal Sin is escaping in our vehicle. So I thought I would. Therefore, look at that. That's more energetic than I could get at this time of the evening. Of course, it's not even evening. You're in the midst of the afternoon.
It's only 5 o'clock here. But I sure wouldn't want to. I don't know. I guess I could handle one trip with Rover. Not the killing kind, but the dragging me back kind. But after that,
what would you be, Cardinal, if you were number 6? So let's imagine that someone's putting podcasters into the village to stop them podcasting, and they want to know. You know,
there's a difference actually. I'm a YouTube content creator. Because this is video and I don't have an RSS feed, it's technically not a podcast.
Well, then, in which case, please forgive my ignorance of the terminologies. That's just my ignorance of
no worries.
I hope I wasn't putting you down by referring.
No, not at all.
Yeah, what sort of prisoner would you be? So if they were trying to get rid of people off of YouTube, what sort of prisoner would you be? Would you be a number?
They
6
are trying to get rid of people off of YouTube.
Well, that's very true. They're not literally kidnapping people, though. I hope. What sort of prisoner would you be? Would you be trying to escape every 2 minutes? Would you be kind of a bit more cunning?
I think I'd probably settle down initially, and I would scope things out, become familiar with everything, but not be a dead giveaway like Patrick McGowan's number 6 is. He's trying to escape from the get-go, and he's brash and dominant and will not be overruled. He won't be undermined. And he's constantly pressing, seeing if there's any little hole he can look through or get through. And I think that I would probably be a little bit more, a lot more, playing the game, going to the beach, laying out a towel, have a drink, a non-alcoholic drink anyway, and just sort of sit down and scope everything out, see what there is to see who's out there, how hard are they watching me, how tame can I be and still take note of, the minders. You can't do that in the series because, especially with Patrick McGowan's initial 7 episodes that got blown into 17, you really have to be pressing all the time. And I don't know if they did that in the remake because I only saw part of one episode. I couldn't stand it when they made the remake on Amazon. It was just clearly not The Prisoner. And one of the things I'm known for on YouTube is I'm part of what's called the Fandom Menace. And we are upset at the way modern franchises have been destroyed, like Doctor Who and Star Trek and Star Wars, for example. And certainly, I don't know if the remake of The Prisoner was woke, but it was stupid. And I couldn't stand it after more than 30 seconds. It was, I could just tell that it was going to be really bad. I think I ended up watching it for half an hour, but if I had the time that Patrick McGoohan obviously doesn't, I would be a laid back, looking like I'm playing ball, and then once I sort of had all of my notes in order, I knew where everything was, then I'd probably make a break for it.
Mm-hmm. So you'd be a slow burner.
Yeah.
And kind of build it. Would you do a hammer into anvil if you got the chance? Would you go for a number 2? And
probably not. I would probably just find the best escape route, follow the butler, as they say.
Wait for him to get the sack and just kind of try and hide in his suitcase. That's the
be a heavy suitcase. But I'd be more circumspect, I think. What about you? What kind of prisoner would you be?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm quite impulsive, so I think I'd be. As soon as I get there, I think I'd be a bit like number 6. And he's not very controlled, is he? Number 6, to be fair, he kind of acts a bit too impulsively, doesn't he? Throughout the series, I probably would be. As soon as I see any chance to escape, I'll probably go for it. I think I'll be spending half my life in the hospital recovering from being rover smothered.
Yeah.
Probably
that's the problem you have to worry about, is being rovered one too many times. Let's get back to our comments here. Okay, Little Pony. Michael Beacom says that Canadian Spider-Man Taggart, back when British TV was the best TV. Days long gone. Didn't mean to step in on your joke, Darius Munchausen. I grew up watching Murder, She Wrote with Grandma Munchausen.
Murder, She Wrote. What a great series. And McGoohan, of course. Is there an episode of Murder, She Wrote?
Didn't know that.
He is. I will find
Maybe you can send me a link later.
I will find you the name of the episode while you're going through the comments, because it's up on the Mutual website.
Rod Thunderheart, hail Rick the Unmutual. Now, have you heard of the Canadian show Murdoch Mysteries? The series, not the movies.
Yeah, I have. They were showing that on. Were they showing that on E or somewhere? I'm not sure I've seen it, but I'm aware of it. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure they show it on Amazon. When I go to the library, they have like a whole, wall of Murdoch Mysteries.
Okay, I found the Murder, She Wrote. It's an episode from 1987 called Witness for the Defense. Patrick McGoohan is the kind of main villain. I think he's a lawyer type.
I'll have to take a note of that.
No problem. Witness for the Defense. Defense with an S rather than a C, the American spelling. Whether it's on Amazon. No, but it is available on Region 1 and 2 DVD.
It has an S, not a C, right?
Correct.
Okay. From 1987?
Thunderheart said it's on Amazon Prime, but did he mean the Murdoch Mysteries or did he mean Murder, She Wrote?
Well, I'll find it either way. I have my ways, Rick.
Yeah, but do you know what? You seem to have a back door into everything.
I do. Seem to. Let's see here. All right. Carol's Cookie says, I watch that on the weekends sometimes when not watching golf. Wow. You have to really like golf. I bet you didn't know I watched golf, did you? Canadian Spider-Man. There are so many good older British TV shows that I used to watch. Yeah. I got, Rick, a treasure trove of stuff from network. You warned me my pocketbook might not like me, but I got every Captain Scarlet there was. I got Super Mary Nation, which has one episode of every series that was filmed in Super Mary Nation, which would not include Space 1999, so I got the entire series, Space 1999. I got, since I'm doing some show and tell, I got John Pilger documentaries that changed the world, and they really did. The Hammer House of Horror.
Yeah, you've really got to watch some of those absolutely brilliant series. Really, really nice stories. A couple of them a week, but you get that with any sort of anthology series.
Witching Time, The 13th Reunion, Rude Awakening, Growing Pains, The House That Bled to Death. I've seen that one. Charlie Boy, The Silent Scream.
Brilliant.
Children of the Full Moon. Silent Scream, yeah.
Yeah, Silent Scream's a fantastic episode. Yeah.
Then we have to pull this one out. Carpathian Eagle. Guardians of the Abyss. Visitor from the Grave. The Two Faces of Evil, which sounds like a Doctor Who episode. The Mark of Satan. I remember that. And then special features. So, wow, what a great box set.
Yeah, no, great series. You'll enjoy those. You will enjoy those. Especially if, because I know you like British stuff. It's a very British kind of anthology series. But you'll enjoy that very much. Did I show you that I got Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected?
Tales of the Unexpected.
It's not too unexpected. I don't want to spoilers, but the kind of the twists are kind of guessable. Very kind of mainstream ITV drama. Great fun. So many discs. It's a great set. I've got the same.
Yeah.
I've got a thicker version. Hold on a second.
And on the back it says, attracting a consistently high caliber of guest stars, including Oscar winners Sir John Gielgud and Jose Ferrer, Joan Collins, Sir John Mills, Peter Bowles, Derek Jacobi, Sean Phillips, Denholm Elliott, Joss Ackland, and Brian Blessed. This 10-disc set contains over 50 of the best episodes from this outstanding series. Theme music by Ron Grainer, of course.
Now, technology's come on somewhat, because I bought this set probably only 5 years ago, and this is 19 discs, but yet has exactly the same amount of episodes that yours has. Because mine contains all 112 episodes, as does yours, I presume.
DVD. They must just be dual layer DVD.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? The technology can change in 5 years. That I've got this mahoosive thing that you can. Yours is double the thickness of yours, which is not a good thing when you've only got limited shelf. But yeah, good, nice little series. Nice little series. You got a good purchase there. But
Yep.
then again, whatever you buy from Network's going to be a good little purchase, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And there's more.
Oh, he has been a busy boy with his credit cards, hasn't he?
I got Black Narcissus.
Yeah.
I think we talked about Hawk the Slayer before.
Yeah, what my favorite is my all-time favorite fantasy movie.
Me too. Alec Guinness in The Card.
Okay.
Haven't seen that one. And of course, one of my favorite movies, a very good movie, Devil Girl from Mars. This is a movie that was filmed in Scotland, and they just forgot to copyright it. It's not a B movie, it's an A movie. It's really good. It's not scary in the sense of, someone's going to get murdered or the aliens are going to slurp our brains out. But the lead actress, the Devil Girl, the titular Devil Girl from Mars, is really imposing. I don't know what her name is, but she's, she's really in command.
She is.
And I think that she has a freeze power that she can make people stop moving. But that's very good. And then just because it looked good and it has Joanna Lumley in it, I got The Breaking of Bumbo.
Okay, I have no idea what that is, but if you've got Joanna Lumley in it, then
I think it's like a rom-com. Back when, the 30 seconds when it was okay for Britain to have sex comedies.
Believe me, it was a lot longer than 30 seconds. It went on a bit too long, to be honest with you. It did get to barrel scraping by the end of the 70s, I have to say.
And
a show that I've never seen because I've only seen the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Randall and Hopkirk
I've only
Deceased.
seen the remake. I used to run the fan club for Randall and Hopkirk Deceased.
Oh, really?
Back in I was a teenager at the time, but it was back at the end of the 80s. I used to run the first. There were two first official fan club. I love Randall and Hopkirk. It's a fantastic series. Yeah. Known in the States as My Partner the Ghost. If some of your viewers from the States are wondering what Randall and Hopkirk Deceased is, it was known as My Partner the Ghost in the States on its original.
I didn't know that. And this isn't Network. This is from the Criterion Collection. Mm-hmm. But it's the George Powell War of the Worlds.
Okay. I'm more of a Jeff Wayne musical version of the War of the Worlds man myself.
Perennial favorite of mine. I suppose we should get back to The Prisoner, huh?
Yeah. That's we don't have to. But,
that's why people are tuning in.
Yeah, a couple of interesting tidbits about Hammer into Anvil. I know your viewers like some factoids. You mentioned earlier on about, could Patrick Cargill's character be Thorpe from Many Happy Returns making a return? Obviously, I explained about the fact that the actor and the casting director both said no, they were different characters. What we must remember, of course, is that Hammer into Anvil was filmed after Many Happy Returns. Before Many Happy Returns. So Hammer into Anvil was actually filmed first. So could he be Thorpe coming back? No, because at this point, Thorpe didn't even exist. And he obviously can't be Thorpe later on because Number 6 would have recognised him and went, "Oh, you worked for the village, you did."
Well, Rick, we do have some fans that have viewed ahead. Mm-hmm. And they know of what they speak because not only are they big fans, but they've moved past us in our viewing order. By the way, where is it? I also picked up. Where is it? Oh, now I can't find it. There it is. Ice Station Zebra. And we are going to review Ice Station Zebra after we're done with Fallout. And it occurred to me that it might be an interesting thing to talk about the character in Ice Station Zebra when we get there.
Yep.
That Patrick McGoohan plays, and ask the fans, the audience, what they think about Patrick McGoohan's character in Ice Station Zebra versus the prisoner, and even more so his character in Danger Man, John Drake.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have said that his performance in Ice Station Zebra is basically John Drake.
Yeah, and we can certainly talk about that at length. I think when the time comes, that'll be a very interesting discussion.
Yes.
But I'm glad you enjoyed Hammer into Anvil, because it's one of my favourite episodes. So I'm glad you felt you enjoyed it as well. As I say, it doesn't it serves no purpose for the rest of the series, does it? It's just a great 50 minutes standalone on its own.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Michael Beacom says to Darius Munchausen, I lost all respect for the local constabulary after the 100th or so victim drops dead around Ms. Fletcher. Talk about suspicious. And Rod Thunderheart says, some countries, Murdoch Mysteries is known as the Artful Detective. I did not know that. Sherry is here and says Fawlty Towers was hilarious. Fawlty Towers is often also referred to as perhaps the best television show ever, along with The Prisoner. Although I think The Prisoner is too uneven to be the greatest TV show ever, but it's up there. Michael Beacom, Cardinal Sin, can you put out your PayPal me ad back on the banner? Yes, I can. Thank you for reminding me of that. There you go. It's on the ticker. Back to the comments. And thank you. I appreciate that. Carol's Cookie says adult MLP. Don't know what that is. And thank you, Darius.
Is your computer not programmed for the code?
What's that?
Is your computer not programmed for it?
Apparently
Carol's
not.
Code? No.
It's the only way to pony, says Carol's Cookies. Maybe that episode of MLP would get our friend interested in The Prisoner.
We're getting some clue. MLP, is that
Major League Prisoner?
Major League, yeah, no, it's I'm going all the way back up the comments now.
Maybe we can have a viewing party. That's not a bad idea. We can have a viewing party for Ice Station Zebra.
We could, couldn't we?
Darius Munchausen, checking the internet, the MLP episode appears to be the Cutie Map Part 1 and 2.
Oh, there you go. My Little Pony, that's MLP. There we go.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, the Cutie Map Part 1 and 2. There we go. Thank you.
And Darius has the link out for where merch can be found. Gillstore.com. The things we Google for our friends. Canadian Spider-Man says, I've got 2 shirts coming on order. Are those the same 2 red Cyberpunk shirts that you had on order before? Canadian Spider-Man. Carol's Cookies, have you gotten credit for all you have won? We want to make sure you don't miss out on what you have coming fair and square. Yeah, by all means, Carol's Cookies, if you won something and I didn't get your email with your address and your size and preference, etc., please do send that to me. Again, my email is gill@sunflower.com. So please email me and let me know what I missed with your shipping address, and if you want a t-shirt, what size and color, etc., etc. Michael Beacom got my Prisoner the Essential Guide right here, written by some unmutual guy named Rick.
Who could he be?
I wonder.
Thank you, Michael. Very kind.
Check out Rick's website, theunmutual.co.uk.
Everyone's being very kind. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Michael Beacom, Darius Munchausen bookmarked it the second he mentioned it, and personally was gobsmacked that it had escaped my attention previously. Rod Thunderheart, Cardinal Sin. It sounds like Rick the Unmutual, he's watched a lot of detective shows. Has he heard of Murdoch Mysteries?
Yeah, we covered that, I think.
Yeah. Michael Beacom, Rick, absolutely. The publisher's website is easier to pick out than yours, and I guarantee you anyone reading this book wants your website more. So there you go. In your next edition, you need to have a full page plug. Full color, just like in the back of comic books. You know what I mean, Rick?
Say that again. You just broke up a second.
In your next edition of the Essential Guide, you need to have a full page color.
Yes, I do. I need to go
ad for your website, just like they have
being so bashful
in comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
Darius Munchausen says, I first learned of The Prisoner a couple of years ago. This year alone, I have seen more and more avatars on YouTube of Patrick McGoohan in the show. Now, new fans all the time.
Yeah, I think Amazon has done it. I think that's a lot of that is to do with Amazon and BritBox having it on their platforms, reaching a kind of new audience away from.
There's also a great deal of talk about I Am Not a Number, and about our discussions, and I can say at least one person that I know has changed his his avatar to Patrick McGoohan because of our show.
Great. No, you're doing great work spreading the word. I hope we haven't put
couldn't do it without you.
Well, you managed all right without me. I hope we haven't put too many people off, though, with our incessant ramblings about random British TV shows rather than The Prisoner.
Well, that's part of why we're here. Michael Beacom says, I have stopped watching cybersecurity as part of my job. Just letting the people count your dots can compromise you.
Yeah, this is your password thing again, Cardinal.
Yep. Carol's Cookies. Shady reasons? Or to silence Kronos? Sherry says, I had to stuff a Kronos. Carol's Cookie says, better not have been to make a tourniquet. Count witch dots. Rob Altus says, I ordered those figures. My friend is doing those at Cardinal Sin. My friend is doing those. Oh, Rick, I think Rob Altus means that his friend is the one that's making those figures.
You're making those figures. Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rob, can you get me a discount? Let's see. Michael Beacom at Darius Munchausen. Cardinal Sin, let us see his login. We cannot see the characters, but by counting the dots, we know how many characters he used, and there are programs that can find your password. Yeah, if you want to brute force my password, you could probably do it. It might take you several months, but it's possible. I backed this all in. Is that the one I heard about on Clobbering Times? Says Darius. Clobbering Times is a friend of ours named Mike, Rick, that is so busy streaming about comics that he doesn't have time to appear on anybody else's shows except people who are not me.
Right.
Yeah, Rob Alta says I know the guy who's making those figures.
Okay, fair play. They're nice. They look like they're nicely done. Great idea.
One-man operation or a bigger company, he says. Michael Beacon, Michael Beacom, hoping Cardinal Sin changes the password when we are not looking. Sorry, 20 years of online risk management makes it a religious thing with me. Okay. I'll make sure that I use a different password next time I'm on Kickstarter. So Rob Alta says he and another guy are the main ones, but they are officially licensed and working with a company.
Yeah, the figures are officially licensed. I've heard that from ITV themselves. It's official, so that's good. It costs a lot of money to license things like that from ITV.
I'm sure it does. Yeah,
that's probably why they had to go down the Kickstarter route, just to raise the money for the licensing fees.
Just as a proof of concept, make sure that it would get to the goal and stretch goals and all that. Waiting for delivery of my first number 6 figurine.
Are we going to have a Cardinal 6 figure, like a bendy gill or something that we can?
It's possible, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, actually, I already have a Cardinal Sin action figure. Now that you've
now what's coming out here? It's either going to be Captain Kirk or Batman. What's coming?
No. This was made by my friend Andy Masterson, and this is really going to blow your mind. And this will probably take us up until the end and time for the giveaway. But this is Cardinal Sin.
It is actually
Interdimensional Guardian.
That was me joking, and it actually exists.
It actually exists.
Wow.
Da, da, da. I do that every time I open it. So, Rick, back in the early days of my channel, I used to wear Misfits t-shirts a lot because I'm a big fan of the punk band The Misfits.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Cardinal Sin action figure by Andy Masterson with the Misfits t-shirt perfectly on there.
Fantastic. Who knew that my little joke would turn out to reveal something so amazing?
He even got the hair right.
Brilliant.
It did have sunglasses on it, but they came off. And, of course, he's carrying a V-gun.
That's their people
Because
that don't
I'm
eat meat or animal products, aren't they?
Because I'm a vegan.
Yeah.
And he's got the black jeans and the punk rock combat boots.
Fantastic.
It really is a beautiful figure.
That's brilliant. That's amazing. Fair
I
play.
sent him a left photo, a right photo, and a front photo, and he got my face. I mean, the head sculpt is amazing. So yes, there is a Cardinal Sin action figure.
That is amazing, and there's me joking, and it actually exists. Well, there you go. Would you Adam and Eve it?
Well, and there's more, but I'll share that later, offline, maybe.
Well, save it for a future show.
There you go. One thing that you can
Excuse
tell.
Me while
I asked Andy if he could make a noose so that I could hang the action figure, where you can see it. And he said, "How much rope do you want?" And I said, "Oh, give me enough."
Wow.
Give him enough rope. So there you have it, the Cardinal Sin Interdimensional Guardian figure.
Fantastic.
By the one and only Andy Masterson.
Brilliant. Fair play.
All right. Let's see if we can burn through these comments here. But it's crowdfunded. Cam's here. Cardinal Sin, Rick Dan Mutual. Sorry I'm late. Good to see you. Good to see you. Michael Beacom, Cardinal Sin. It amuses me that the village, who dish out every mind-bending drug known to pharmacology, disapproves of alcohol for the villagers. Yeah, that's true. Rob Altus, Canadian Spider-Man. He is a writer, producer, director, actor, and certified nerd. Worked for several animated shows. Welcome, Cam, Michael Beacom, Rob Altus, Cam, Michael Beacom. I was one of the crowdfunders, hoping they can go big with them once the initial run is done. Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be great to have, like the Star Wars figures, it'd be great to have every character, wouldn't it, as a prisoner?
Yeah, all with their pins and badges.
Yeah.
Greetings. Yeah, have to support our fellow creators, absolutely. I think everybody here is pretty psyched. Going to get one. We have Rabid Slug Ouchies. Hey, Cardinal Sin, panel and chat. Hey, Rabid Slug Ouchies. Good to see you. ITV. Sherry. Cam. I would remember my Sun Tzu and flow like water. Appear strong when I'm weak and weak when I'm strong. Absolutely. It's on Amazon Prime. I think he must be referring to Murdoch Mysteries. Tip Cardinal Sin. Sherry, you forgot your rusty knife. Don't use it here. Only with you. Rick and Cardinal, final thought. What did you think about the pink brain background of the main chamber in the end when the broken number 2 reports himself? Struck me as very symbolic.
Yeah,
that's from Michael Beacom.
Yeah, Michael, it's great. Michael always comes out with great observations, doesn't he? It's one of the reasons I enjoy this show so much. Yeah, absolutely right. I think that the pink was deliberate. Sometimes you get a lot of oranges and deep purples, and they wouldn't quite have worked the same as the pink. And I think you're right that it was very much a kind of episode where we're getting into somebody's brain, and that was kind of why they chose it. I think that's a great spot from you.
Yeah, Michael Beacom is really good at that. Cardinal Sin, have to say goodbye early, guys. Doctor appointment to get to. Be seeing
hope
you.
nothing serious, Michael. Be seeing you. All the best.
Be seeing
See you
you.
next week, I hope.
Rabid Slug Ouchie says, I have a man purse. Perhaps he has seen mine. It's European! It's a Seinfeld thing. He got like a man bag and people kept calling it a purse and he said, it's European! Heading out. Sliders fan blog. Good night. Black Adder will be my next acquisition. Cam. Can't go wrong with Black Adder. Rowan Atkinson is brilliant. Anti-Derivative Jill is here. And you can enter the I Am Not a Number giveaway here to win your choice of a t-shirt, coffee mug, sweatshirt, or hoodie. Say something in the chat so we can verify that you are here. And let's go ahead and make that...
exciting.
It's already a bit LY. Okay, so that's pretty small. So everybody that would like to be in the running for the giveaway, please go ahead and follow that link right there at the beginning on your screen. And that will take you to a place where you can enter your name. And you'll be able to take your pick of cool I Am Not a Number merchandise. And R.I.P. Obi-Wan. Don't know what that means. Rabid Slug Ouchie says Scotland. My land. Oh, I. Sherry says quit stalking me. Rabbit Slug Ouchie says brain slurping isn't healthy. Anti-Derivative Jill, enter the giveaway right here. That is a better banner. Thank you. Going through, I miss the 80s and the 90s. Hey, Canada, man. Canadian Spider-Man.
I've done it. I'm in the draw. I've entered the giveaway.
Excellent.
I'm not allowed to, being that I'm the guest this week. But
and by the way, mods, please also enter yourselves in the giveaway. Canadian Spider-Man, Darius, Jill, enter by all means. You guys work hard and you deserve to win stuff too. Keeping going here. Rabid Slug Ouchie says, I better be careful, I could get banned. He said, spank that thumbs up. That's all right. You can say spank that thumbs up. And we have some tip URLs. And I'm going to keep the giveaway URL up there as much as I can. Ivan Ivanovich, Jones is not John Drake.
We can discuss that in about 10 weeks' time, can't we?
I guess so, yeah. I'm well, thanks. Hello. MLP My Little Pony, yes, we finally figured that out. Rod Thunderheart says it's not neurolinguistic programming. Antiderivative Jill, always good to see you. No, that's not my email address. It's Gil, not Gil. Gil at sunflower.com. And Carol's Cookies. Make sure you sent it to the correct email address. I'll double check and make sure. Let's see. I don't think I got it. Make sure you send it to GIL at sunflower.com. Carol's Cookies. And let's see what else we have before we bring on the R.I.P. Sean Connery, yes. Before we bring on the wheel, the spinning wheel. All right, we're at 2 hours, so you guys have had plenty of time to enter. So let's go ahead and bring Jill on.
I'm doing a drum roll.
Not yet. Or Darius, or who am I thinking of here? Why do I not have a Twitter window open? Okay. We'll go here. Now you all have the link. So whoever has the wheel can come on in. And here we have Darius Munchausen.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. I have the wheel open.
Do you have names on the wheel?
Yeah, we got quite a few names on the wheel.
Great.
Hey, Darius.
Well, go
Hey,
ahead.
Rick.
Go ahead and bring that spinner wheel into the chat.
All right.
Rabid Slug, ouchies. I only use Twitter to communicate and send links to people. I don't get involved with the political side of it. I don't have enough time in my life to get sucked into that.
Very wise. It is a den of awfulness, Twitter. You just end up arguing with idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Darius, do we have any issues bringing the wheel into the chat?
Into the chat? Well, okay.
I just have to say okay. All right.
Yeah, if you want to
Sorry
be the
about
one to
that.
share it, I could share the link with you. So looks like we have 9 names on the wheel.
Yep. All right, give her a spin.
All right.
Hey,
Congratulations,
check it
Rick.
out. Rick
who'd have
won
thought?
some merch.
That's brilliant.
That's great.
Thank you so much. I will treasure whatever I end up with. That's very kind of you.
Thank you, Darius.
I think
Now,
you
you
get to
see-
pick, don't you?
Well, that's
Yes.
great. Now,
You'll need to pick from all the wonderful merchandise that you saw.
well, I tell you what, because you're probably really annoyed that probably the only person watching it from a different country is me, out of all the people that entered, I would like whatever is the cheapest item to ship.
Oh, please.
So I will have whatever you feel you can put cheapest in the post.
Okay, fair enough. I know what that is. I'll just keep it a secret for now.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much. Thank you, Darius, for organising that.
Congratulations.
That was very
Thank you
exciting.
for being
It
here, Rick.
was.
Can't we just do that wheel every week for some other purpose? Like, what are we going to talk about next? And have a load of categories, because that was really exciting.
And P. Fiera is here. I'm from the UK, but I didn't enter Rick.
I'm glad you didn't enter me.
There are, there are actually a lot of people here from the UK.
At least one from Canada.
Yes. Rabbit Slug Ouchie says, I like Wrong Think. And I'm excited as well. So, Darius, how have you been, my friend?
All right, I guess. Pretty busy.
Pretty busy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cam says, nice, Rick. Congrats and enjoy.
Thank you. I will. I'm beyond chuffed.
What size T-shirt do you wear?
XL.
XL. Okay.
Have you given something away there?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I could just be doing that in my spare time.
You can... Yes. Yeah. What size T-shirt are you? Because I'm sending you a mug.
Yep. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's nearly time for me to turn into a pumpkin or something. So
Yeah, it is. Antiderivative Jill says, congrats, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you,
should thank Darius,
Antiderivative Jill.
Darius took the bribe and made the wheel stop in exactly the right space.
Yeah, that's right. Get you that $100 later. All right. Well, for Rick and Darius Munchausen, it's Cardinal Sin, and we are